What do you want? The Stone Age is better, don't you think? Not another "it's so easy a caveman can do it" scene. Really? Right, I expect a couple of torches in exchange.
Welcome to Friend for the Artists. Today we are doing a daily video log with Dean as he goes through his travels of applying a new book called Access 2021 Microsoft 365 Programming by Example. He intends to share this learning experience and would like to invite you along. Back to the book. We will have a picture soon with it. Behind me right now is a 3D mind map. Dean's combining many resources, yet he can't help but recommend this top-of-the-line book. As you see, he purchased the book out of pocket, so there are no affiliate ties to motivate him for a sales pitch. About the author. Since 1993, Julita Coral, Long Island, NY, has published over 24 computer books on using and programming Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Access. Ms. Coral has completed professional certifications by Microsoft Corporation and the Computing Technology Industry Association, CompTIA. Updated for Access 2021 and based on the best-selling editions from previous versions, Access 2021 Microsoft 365 Programming by Example is a practical, how-to-book on Access programming, suitable for readers already proficient with the Access user interface, UI. If you are looking to automate Access routine tasks, this book will progressively introduce you to programming concepts via numerous illustrated hands-on exercises. More advanced topics are demonstrated via custom projects. With concise and straightforward explanations, you learn how to write and test your programming code with the built-in Visual Basic Editor, understand and use common VBA programming structures such as conditions, loops, arrays, collections, and dictionaries, code a message box, reprogram characteristics of a database, and use various techniques to query and manipulate your Access, MDB and ACCDB databases. Dean says it's so detailed that you are getting more than 1,700 pages of training. Well, Dean told me to tell the computer to present its overview of Dean's daily mind map of this book. Okay, knowledge base builder, spill the beans and play your overview.
Getting started with Access VBA. Procedure: a group of instructions. 4 types of procedures in VBA. Subroutine procedures. Function procedures. Event procedures. Property procedures. Procedures: stored modules. A module resembles a blank document in Word. Each procedure in each module must have a unique name. Reference sites. Microsoft Access Training. Microsoft's Introduction to Access Programming. MSDN Access Developer Documentation.
Now for the star of our show, our spokesmodel will detail what the knowledge base builder introduced. We wanted you to have the overview first, now a description of the 4 procedures in VBA. We are taking extra care they are clear, besides it helps the old fart, Dean, to remember.
A procedure in Microsoft Access VBA is a set of instructions that tells the computer how to do something. For example, you can write a procedure to open a report, or to add 2 numbers together. You can use procedures to make your database do different things when you click a button, or when you open a form, or when you change some data. There are 4 major types of procedures in Access VBA. Sub-procedures. These are procedures that perform an action, but do not return any value. For example, you can write a sub-procedure to print a message on the screen, or to close a form. You can run a sub-procedure by clicking a button, or by using a macro, or by calling it from another procedure. Function procedures. These are procedures that perform a calculation and return a value. For example, you can write a function procedure to add two numbers together, or to find the average of a list of numbers. You can use a function procedure as part of a formula, or as an argument for another procedure, or by assigning it to a variable. Property procedures. These are procedures that control the characteristics of an object, such as a form, a report, or a control. For example, you can write a property procedure to change the color, the size, or the caption of a button. You can use a property procedure to get or set the value of a property of an object. Event procedures. These are procedures that run automatically when something happens in the database, such as opening a form, clicking a button, or changing some data. For example, you can write an event procedure to check the validity of the data entered by the user, or to display a message when the user opens a form. You can attach an event procedure to an event property of an object, such as onClick, onOpen, or onChange. To summarize, procedures are sets of instructions that tell the computer how to do something in Access VBA. There are 4 types of procedures: sub, function, property, and event. You can use different types of procedures for different purposes, depending on what you want your database to do.
Now we figured this might raise questions about macros and other details. Our star will fill us in there as well. You might be wondering why she's painted. Well, it's part of the Friend for the Artists theme, since we are going to be focusing in on developing databases to support our artists and you.
Procedures are stored in Microsoft Access as named macros. A macro is a way of saving a series of actions that you want the computer to do. For example, you can make a macro to open a form or to print a report. You can give each macro a name so you can find it easily. You can also run a macro by clicking a button, or by using a shortcut key, or by calling it from another macro. Procedures are a special kind of macro that use a language called VBA. VBA stands for Visual Basic for Applications, and it is a way of writing instructions for the computer using words and symbols. VBA lets you do more things than regular macros, such as calculations, conditions, and loops. You can also use VBA to create functions, properties, and events, which are different types of procedures. To create a procedure in Microsoft Access, you need to open the VBA editor. The VBA editor is a window where you can write and edit your VBA code. You can open the VBA editor by pressing Alt plus F11 on your keyboard, or by clicking the Visual Basic button on the Database Tools tab. In the VBA editor, you can see a list of all the objects in your database, such as tables, forms, reports, and modules. A module is a container for your VBA code. You can create a new module by clicking the Insert menu and then clicking Module. In the module, you can write your procedure using the Create Procedure statement. You can also use the Query Design window to create a procedure. To summarize, procedures are stored in Microsoft Access as named macros that use VBA code. You can create and edit procedures in the VBA editor or the Query Design window. Procedures let you do more things with your database than regular macros.
We wrote out examples in Knowledge Base Builder. These examples are not written in VBA for Access. This is a video log of the concepts within Microsoft Access. Our next video log will demonstrate some examples. The purpose of the video log is to support some members ready for advanced topics.
These examples might be hard to grasp without Microsoft Access demonstrating them. However, the Knowledge Base Builder will do a presentation you might find informing. Yes, we know it's a computer-generated voice, but it's quick, and it would take us an extra day to produce. I'm turning it over now.
Getting started with Access VBA. Procedure A group of instructions. 4 types of procedures in VBA. Subroutine procedures. Subroutine procedures perform useful tasks but never return values. Subroutine procedure keyword syntax sub, beginning of procedure, end, ending of the procedure. Note empty parentheses after procedure name. Show message. Instructions are called statements. Arguments are values needed for a procedure to do something. Examples. Procedure 1 for a message box. Sub show message. Message box. Message box is built into VBA. It is a keyword. And sub. Procedure 2 calling procedure 1 sub show message 2. str message as string. Message box str message and sub. str message. More than one argument sub show message 3. str message as string. Username as string. Message box username and remember this example and str message and sub. Ampersand and operator is used for concatenating text strings. Function procedures. Functions perform specific tasks and can return values. They begin with a keyword function and end with a keyword's end function. Function, beginning of procedure, end function, ending of the procedure. Examples. Function procedure that adds two numbers. Function add two numbers. Dim num1 as integer, dim num2 as integer, num1 equals 2, num2 equals 5. Add two numbers equals num1 plus num2 end function. More efficient variation function add two numbers 2, num1 as integer, num2 as integer. Add two numbers 2 equals num1 plus num2 end function. Now you can pass any two numbers to the preceding function to add them together. Note this is a subroutine. Sub-display result, message box, total equals and add two numbers 2, 5, 20, and sub. Display result calls two functions, the built-in message box function and your custom add two numbers 2 function. Event procedures. Event procedures execute in response to an event initiated by the user or program code or triggered by the system. Property procedures. Property procedures are used to get or set the values of custom properties for forms, reports, and class modules. Three types of property procedures. Property get, property let, property set. Begins with property keyword immediately followed by get, or let, or set, the property value and ends with the end property keyword. Example of property procedure. Property get YouTube subscribers, success equals, views asterisk subscribers, dislikes and property. Procedures stored modules. A module resembles a blank document in Word. Each procedure in each module must have a unique name. Reference sites. Microsoft Access Training. Microsoft's Introduction to Access Programming. MSDN Access Developer Documentation.
Well folks, I know the last part was dry and a bit meaningless. It does give you an idea of what we will be covering in the next video log for Access. Please check in with us later, subscribe and message Dean please.
What do you want? The Stone Age is better, don't you think? Not another it's so easy a caveman can do it scene. Really? Right, I expect a couple of torches in exchange. Well, we hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and tickle that bell. Each week we are going to be building the database. As soon as we get the basic forms and tables built, we will do the media reviews. Here's a teaser. Don't get discouraged and just remember, if I can do it, anybody can do it.